On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, President of the United Nations General Assembly, Secretary General of the United Nations, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate His Excellency, Mr. Miroslav Lajčák, on his election as President of the 72nd session of the United Nations General Assembly and assure him of Uganda's support. We are confident that he will lead the Assembly effectively and successfully. I would also like to express our gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Peter Thompson for his leadership of the 71st session. I pay tribute to the Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, for his personal dedication and commitment to the work of the United Nations. The theme for this session, focusing on people striving for peace and a decent life for all on a sustained planet, is very pertinent. I am happy this topic is being discussed. I have always wondered why the elites in the different countries of the world do not see this. Who would lose if all the people on the globe led a decent life of having 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day for an adult person? Who would lose if all the people each day were getting enough calories to support their bodies? Who would lose if all the immunizable diseases that afflict people were immunized against? Who would lose if that one was achieved for all the people in the world that need immunization, for all the immunizable diseases got it? What would be the problem? Who would lose if all young people, children, accessed education to achieve literacy, numeracy, and skills as a minimum? Who would lose if all the human beings had a health unit within the radius of 5 kilometers from where one lives? Who would live if all human beings had access to clean electricity, away from charcoal, firewood, and dirty kerosene? Who would lose if every person, adult person, had a well-paying job? Who would lose if every family on the globe had 3 decent a 3-bedroom decent house for each family? Who would lose if each person had access to clean water? Who would lose if every person on the globe did not have to worry about war, about terrorism, and about crime? Who would lose if every producer of a service or a good that is needed for use in the world had a right of access to markets? Who would lose if all the countries in the world had good transport and other elements of infrastructure? Who would lose if all of us insisted on protecting our Mother Nature so that it can also look after us? To what extent would this effort at global affluence stimulate business? How much cement, how much steel, how much copper, how much food would we need? And how would all that impact business? If we aimed at global affluence, how much would this impact business positively? Why then do we only have bad businessmen who do not have efficient spectacles that can see these business opportunities that are implied if we aim at global affluence? As a milk and beef producer myself, only a few months ago, I was cautioning my fellow farmers against excessive greed as far as the price per liter of milk and per kilogram of beef were concerned, because the farmers were trying to demand high salaries, high prices for beef and for milk. But I was warning them that if the milk is too expensive, the people may not buy it as much as if it were better priced. The more buyers we would have for our products, the more prosperous we would be. We would therefore be both good business people but also good Christians, because we would do business but in a fair way. Therefore, in my opinion, parasitism is the only obstacle to global affluence, prosperity, and peace. On the dangerous situation on the Korean Peninsula, where very dangerous instruments of mass extermination are paraded around by the two contending sides, I have got one question. My approach today is just to pose questions. I will not answer all of them, but I will just pose them to you so that you answer them yourselves. I have one question. Who would lose if North Korea and South Korea, those kith and kin, were left alone to discuss their reunification? The Korean nation came into existence ever since 1234 AD, according to the information I saw on the internet. Why can these people, they are one people, why can they not discuss their reunification instead of maintaining a divided peninsula? And it is our job to manage endlessly that division. These Koreans were temporarily divided toward the end of the Second World War. Why should this division be allowed to be permanent and a source of dangerous tensions? A unified Korea would be a very strong nation. Why do some actors fear strong nations in the world? Why should the Koreans themselves, north and south, allow external forces to continue to divide them? We always strive not to allow actors, foreign or local, to divide the African peoples, regardless of the complications involved. When you hear that Uganda accommodates many African refugees, it is on account of a conscious ideological position, not to allow any actors to divide us. We only fight traitors. We only fight traitors. Who has been hurt by a unified Vietnam since 1975, although the method of their unification was not the best one? Who has been hurt by the reunification of Germany since 1990? Finally, on the small issue of enforcing sanctions against North Korea, Uganda is in compliance. That's not a big problem. We do not have to trade with North Korea. We are, however, grateful that in the past, the North Koreans helped us to build our tank forces. I thank you and I wish you good luck.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda for the statement just made. May I request representatives to remain seated while we greet the Head of State.